How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Keith Demolder. Week 2 is finally over in the Winterfell Fantasy League. I know for some teams now is Week 2, but it's actually Week 3 of the MLB season. We appreciate you joining us for another episode. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So it has been a wild week of baseball. Some general MLB thoughts for you to start off the podcast. The first note I had, hitters go Burr. It has been one of the weirdest starts to the year offensively for a ton of players, namely, especially for the Boston Red Sox. We've had discussions. We've talked about it plenty. I don't need to rehearse this. But yeah, the Red Sox right now, Caleb Durbin has played like absolute garbage. Austin Riley, another guy who looks lifeless. Most of Mark's team, essentially, all of his hitters have been terrible this season. Julio Rodriguez has been was on a 2 for 20 type tear. Willie Adames hasn't looked great. A lot of really storied, fantastic hitters have not been super ideal to start the year. That is something that will turn around. I'm just surprised it hasn't turned around sooner. But so real quick side note, by the way, I try and wear a different jersey every podcast, and today I'm wearing a Gonzaga basketball jersey in honor of the Final Four this weekend, but also in honor of my late grandmother who died a couple years ago, and she was a huge Gonzaga fan. I actually got her this jersey for her birthday one year, so I always have it hanging up in my closet. So just want to shout out Granny if you're watching wherever you may be. But anyway, back to it. Hitters go Burr. Yeah, it has been a quiet offensive stretch for a ton of hitters that we thought were going to be absolute dynamite, and we'll get into it a little bit more with Mark's squad. But yeah, I mean, Jose Ramirez, 6 for 39 right now. Bo Bichette's been cold. Junior Caminero has started to heat up. Ketel Marte has started to heat up, but Nick Kurtz, all of the A's bats, finally starting to wake up today, but before today's game, they have been ice cold. Kyle Manzardo, Marcelo Ozuna, guys we thought maybe they'll be guys. They just haven't been guys. So something to look out for sure. As the week goes on, we might see those guys who were formerly not start to turn into absolute beasts like we know they can be. So anyway, second point I have here is, are the Pirates legit? And that's the question that's it's on everyone's minds right now. It's on my mind, at least. I think, 6-3, they've scored their fair share of runs. Their defense has been somewhat solid. Paul Skeens first start notwithstanding, but 6-3, they're number 2 in the Central right now. I like their hitters. I think that Brandon Lau has come to the plate. He's looked pretty good. I mean, bringing up Connor Griffin this week was a much-needed energy shot to the arm for them. You knew that they have the raw talent in terms of their arms, not just Skeens, but guys in the bullpen like Gregory Soto or Dennis Santana, guys who can get strikeouts, who can throw in high-leverage situations and be successful. Mitch Keller, I know Joey likes him. Again, a 1.5 ERA, not too bad. Braxton Ashcraft, another guy who's had 2 quality starts this year. Carmen Mlodzinski, 9 innings, 4 ERA, 13 Ks. That's highest on the team. So they have a pretty darn good bullpen as well. A lot of good arms in there. Isaac Mattson, Yohan Ramirez, Bubba Chandler hasn't allowed a run this season, so I like what they're giving me thus far. It's just a matter of will they sustain it, and especially will their offense come to play this year. I think that's a big question mark. But thus far, they're showing me some good things. So I think as of right now, they're pretty legit. But we will see if they continue. All right, the third point is I love ABS, the automatic ball strike system. It is the best thing to come to baseball. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of missed calls that are almost a little bit more egregious because the team's lost a challenge and they don't want to use the challenge. I know that was a thing with the Padres game where Fernando Tatis had a clear, it was a late inning, this is why we have the challenge call, that would have made it a 3-2 count instead of a 2-2 count. He doesn't use it, and those sorts of situations are frustrating. It's like teams are being a little bit too conservative with them. It's hard to find the right approach, but I like letting the catchers do it versus the pitchers because the catchers know the strike zone a little bit better than pitchers, and every pitcher thinks that their pitch is a strike. So, at any rate, I do like the ABS system. I think it's really streamlined a lot of bad calls and made the game a lot better. So, shout out to Rob Manfred actually doing something for once. Then general league stuff, just some injuries that have happened recently. Just want to go over that definitely affect some fantasy players in our league. Mookie Betts going down with an oblique strain. He's been hurt in recent years, and there's some questions. Off season, he lost a ton of weight, and there were some questions of, is he going to be healthy this season? Well, oblique strain not ideal. He's going to be out for some time. Hunter Brown, who just out of nowhere gets a shoulder injury, he's not pitching tomorrow, so that opens up some holes for Bolton from Houston to get the start tomorrow. We'll see what happens, but that kind of nerfs Bouchard's team a little bit. Not that his team needs any nerfing right now, but we're seeing some guys get hurt. Obviously, Cody Ponce, our dog, going on the 60-day IL. That was not fun. Really looking forward to him. He had a good start to his season. 2 1/3 innings pitched. Would have had 2 2/3 innings pitched, but takes the weirdest ground ball of all time. It's just such an unfortunate incident. 3 Ks. I thought, again, that this was going to be a really good pickup for us, and unfortunately, he's hurt. So no surprise there. Thank goodness Carlos Estevez is on the injured list, because if we did not have that open spot, I don't know what we would be doing right now. So at any rate, injuries have hurt every single team. We even had to drop Troy Melton to make room for Ponce and Estevez. So that wasn't a fun time, but I'm glad that with some injuries coming, that guys will get opportunities. Guys from the minors getting called up. So we'll see. It'll make it interesting to say the least. And then some Padres thoughts. A big series win over the Red Sox this weekend. I like that the Pods have depth in terms of their bats. I like that they have Mason Miller at the end of the rotation, or at the end of the bullpen. Because if they did not have Mason Miller, I don't know where this team would be. And the guy is arguably, Bouchard joked about it in the chat, but one of the best arms in baseball, bar none. I like the fact that Machado, Merrill both went off today. Bogarts finally picked it up. But, Ramon Laureano is an absolute dog. He's a guy that's going to get on base. I love the fact that he's on our squad right now. Miguel Andujar, he's fine. He'll get some hits. He'll hit here and there. I think it's just the bottom of the lineup is so head-scratching. Ty France getting starts, Crone, Bryce Johnson, and then, of course, we see Luis Campusano, who actually got a hit, which I was not expecting, but I don't know. It's I guess what I meant, not that there's hitting depth per se, but just the fact that it's very top heavy. We have, again, Toddy, Machado, Laureano, Bogarts. Sometimes maybe he's a guy, but those guys, and Merrill, of course. So those 4 or 5 guys, they would be, top guys on other squads. So I like that they're starting to hit, starting to kind of get the wheels churning. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's ahead for this team. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit worried, especially pitching wise. Mason Miller, he's gonna be a dog as closer, but getting there, that's the issue. You're having a guy like Walker Buehler go 2 2/3 innings. Yeah, he had 4 Ks, but 4 earned runs. Kyle Hart comes in and allows inherited runners to score. Yeah, he had 2 scoreless innings after that, but I don't know. I'm not super sure that this team can survive without any free agent help. So maybe we'll see Lucas Giolito become a Pod. One can dream. I don't think it'll happen, but yeah, this team needs some pitching help desperately, and I am not stoked for Herman Marquez tomorrow, but I guess we'll just have to see. All right, getting back to brass tacks here, the Week 2 recap in the Winterfell League. Let's just get into it. A successful week for the Bahds. We were finally in the win column, but so are some other teams, so let's roll down the list. Bouchard with the number 1 performance fantasy-wise this week. He went absolutely ballistic. 462.5 over 284 against Noah. Zane with the 303.5 to 255 win over Mark. Travis with the 348 win, 264 win over Tyler. Us, the Bahds, 441 over 384 against Team Tom. And then Nick with the narrow, nail-biting, last-moment victory, 318.5 over 312.5 over T-Flow to round it out. So with that, the new standings in the league are Team Bouchard, Team Nick, Team Zane, all at 2-0. Then we have a flurry of 1-1 teams, including the Bahds, T-Flow, Travis, Tyler, Nate, Noah. And the bottom 3 teams by record in the league, Tommy Carey, Mark Newman, and Joseph Biederman. Joey in last place with the least amount of points at 319 this season. So tough stuff to say the least. But yeah, going over the Week 2 schedule, again, the one that I was noticing, obviously Nick and I are close and we'll text. So that was kind of the matchup him and Tristan I was watching. You know, it was an absolute dogfight. Nick pulling out all the stops, bringing up Eric Sobrowski from minors and playing him. You know, him and I were kind of scheming last night. I was giving him some advice on certain pickups. Just want to give a shout out to Team Noah as well. I mean, competing valiantly. Almost getting to the 300, but he made some good claims. Gregory Soto getting the save for Pittsburgh. That was big. Got to give a shout out to Nate with his first win of the year, albeit over Joey, but hey, a win nevertheless. Just want to shout out to him for coming on the pod yesterday. If you guys haven't watched that, make sure to watch that. But yeah, I liked what I saw from teams kind of continuing their offensive success, if you will. T-Flow again competing, like he's out from the cellar, and now he's starting to show why we've ranked him so highly in the power rankings. Just unfortunate. Just looking at the scores, I mean, for Mark's squad, 255. I mean, this is a Mark team that we've seen be top 1, top 2, top 3 team in the league, and he has, as Nick called it, the start from hell. Absolutely, he's an absolute blender right now. I mean, Nick Kurtz, only 5.5 points on the season. Kyle Manzaro, Marcelo Zuna combining for -4 points. Jeff McNeil, only 3. A ton of his players just have not come to the table, really. I mean, Bo Bichette, 1.1 points per game. It's just not going to get it done. And then some of his pitchers have had a tough go about it as well. Jacob Lopez, -5. Jack Flaherty, -4 points to start the year. I mean, he's had some good performances in terms of, some starters. Seth Lugo's been solid. Shota Imanaga rebounded. Jeffrey Springs, ironically enough, with 31 points. Dennis Santana, 31. He's been solid. Brandon Woodruff as well. Bybee, Joe Ryan. Like, again, they've been solid to start the year, but not exactly what he'd hoped. And he's also got some injuries as well. Lodolo's out. Corbin Burns out. Grayson Rodriguez is out. Kirk, Holiday, Santander, all out. So this isn't going to last forever, Team Mark, but yeah, definitely unfortunate writing right now. Anyway, an interesting Week 2 in the Winterfell League. Now, let's get to some waiver claims I wanted to shout out, including some of our own. Just going down the list, Emerson Hancock to Team Joey, Jordan Walker, Liam Hicks, Andre Palante, Brian King, Bryce Elder, Max Scherzer, Mike Soroka, Steven Matz, Davis Martin, Victor Vodnik, Tony Santillan, Gregory Soto, Mauricio Dubon, and then I wanted to shout out the minors guys who got this week. Kemp Alderman, Luis Lara, Shitaro Mori, and Christian Oper for Team Tom. So looking at the list overall, a ton of starters that got, including a couple by us. Steven Matz, an absolute dog. Huge performance. We'll get to that in a little bit. Max Scherzer, solid as always. Bryce Elder, should have got that. That's something that we should have got. I was looking at him, but he's becoming a solid player. And a little bit easier matchups for sure, but he's got something. He's added something this offseason. I believe a cutter that he throws to righty or to lefties or something like that. What I saw on Twitter. So Bryce Elder, say what you will about him, but he's getting double digits right now, and he's a valuable pitcher in this league. Liam Hicks, a good add as well, just because of that positional versatility, catcher, first base, DH. I mean, obviously we all have a DH slot. You can put anyone in there, but catcher and first base. Again, that's nice to have versus just a first baseman or just a catcher. So Jordan Walker, again, I told Joey he should have got that, but instead Tommy got that, and he went absolutely off the other day with a home run and grand slam. Obviously, Walker does strike out a lot. He's a very risky player, but I like him. He's young. I thought Joey might have taken a risk on him. Davis Martin, another pickup by Joe or by Tommy. Again, gave us absolute fits. Just shout out to Tom for his ability to compete this week. Number third highest point scorer in the league, I believe. And yeah, I mean, it was an absolute dogfight for us as well. Going into the day, had a 100-point lead, and he didn't make it easy. So just want to give a little bow to Team Tom. He pulled out all the stops. He's tried his hardest to try and take us down, but fortunately the Bahds just too good this week. Looking over some of the other, again, Michael Soroka, another pick by Tommy that we should have got. I was thinking about getting, or I think we even made a claim, but it was a weird kind of day, and we just didn't bid enough on him. So Gregory Soto, yeah, shout out to Noah for taking my advice and picking him up. We probably should have got that, to be honest. If we had another claim, we probably would have used it on him because Dennis Santana, it's like, is there a weird sort of thing? Does he really have the closer spot in Pittsburgh? We don't know. Mauricio Dubon, we looked at that this week. Positional versatility. He's been solid. He's been getting hits. I mean, he leads the team in RBIs right now for the Braves. So I like the pickup. He's gonna get hits this season. He will strike out. Is he gonna get a ton of homers or a ton of extra base hits? Not necessarily, but he's going to be a guy that will stuff the stat sheet, and you got to love that. Again, like I mentioned, shout out to our minors guys. Luis Lara, a guy that I was really eyeing, and Bouchard got him. Kemp Alderman, a former Bod, now on Team Nick. Again, that was a guy that we just looked at him and was like, it's a crowded outfield in Miami right now. Just feel like we could use our minor slots a little bit better, mainly on pitchers and things like that. So. At any rate, I digress. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out those best waiver claims from this week. All right, now moving on to some waiver claims that I highly advise Joseph Biederman to make if he can make them. And other teams in the league if you want to do that as well. Going down the list, Brandon Marsh, the outfielder for the Phillies. Adrian Hauser, pitcher. Jack Kohanowitz, pitcher. Max Muncy, second base, third baseman. Lennon Sosa, first baseman for the Sox. Tomoyuki Sagano, pitcher for Colorado. Josh Bell, first baseman for Minnesota. Matty Smokes, Matt Strahm, relief pitcher for the Royals. Ryan Stanek, relief pitcher for the Cardinals. And then Jonathan Loaizaga from Arizona. So taking a look at the list, Marshy, I like probably the top outfielder right now that nobody's got. He's getting hits right now. I mean, he's gotten a hit in almost every single one of his games. So he'll score runs. He'll get a hit. It's not always an extra base hit, but he'll at least get a hit. he's going to play. I know he's a bit of a platoon situation in the outfield for Philly, but he's got a good average. He's been hitting. Another guy that I look out for. I'm like, hey, that if we needed outfielders, then that would be a guy we would look for. But we don't really need him right now, so we're like, well, don't really need him. Playing at San Francisco this week, not super hitter friendly, but then he plays at Arizona at home. I like my chances there. Hauser had a fine start. He got kind of boned via some errors, which gave him the loss. Should have had a better performance. I like Adrian Hauser, former Bod, as we all know. I think that this week he's got a matchup against Philly, but he's got a 2-start week at Baltimore on the 12th. It'd be worth giving him a shot. That's all I'm saying. One of the top. I feel like all the starting pitchers that could be got have already been gotten. So if there's a guy to take a flyer on, I think Hauser would be it. Kahanowitz, another guy that we saw last year, had a terrible K rate, gets a ton of Ks the other night against Seattle, admittedly. But that's a young guy. I mean, Joey, if you want to get a good pitcher, Kahanowitz, I think, is your guy. I know he plays for the Angels. They're not ideal, but I think he's starting to show some flashes. His fastball velocity's up there. Could be worth it. Take a look. I guess we'll just kind of group in all these hitters. Muncy, Sosa, Bell. Sosa, I guess, is a lefty masher, as I'm reading online, and is facing a lot of lefties this week. So that could be something to see. Maybe pick him up. Josh Bell, again, he's been getting a lot of RBIs, 7 thus far, multiple hit games. He's scoring runs as well. He's walking at a high clip, a 371 OBP, 927 OPS right now. The Twins are garbage, but he's a bright spot, and he's going to start almost every game. So I'd pick him up if you need a first baseman or just a bat in general. Max Muncy, a guy with positional eligibility at positions that people need. Second base, third base. 23 points this season. Again, it's good. He's got a high slug. Right now his OPS is 905. He's young, 23. We might get that. I don't know. We'll see. But I like what Muncy brings to the table. He's not playing tomorrow or Monday, which is today when you'll see this, but he's got the rest of the week in New York in New York for the Yankees and Mets. So that's something to note. Anyway, looking at the rest of the arms, I guess we'll do the final starting pitcher. Sagano, the former Bod first-year player draft pick. It's tough to see him again, we've already been over this. It's tough to watch him because he's not like overpowering with his stuff. But then again, we have David Peterson on our squad, so who really cares at this point? Just playing for Colorado is such a hard thing. I just can't wrap my head around it, but he'll take on the Pods this week. He's worth a look. In San Diego, I feel like the Rockies are always taking down the Padres for some reason, so that's why he's on there. The rest 3 arms are relief pitchers, Matt Strahm, Ryan Stanek, and Loaisiga, guys that in Arizona, the Mets, Royals, respectively. For the Mets, not for the Mets, for the Cardinals, my apologies. He was on the Mets last year. Stanek and the Cards, we know that this is Riley O'Brien's closing spot to lose. He's been getting the saves. This is his team, right? Stanek, though, he's got nasty stuff. He's going to get the Ks, so he's worth a stash to get like the 5-piece, maybe the 6-piece with a 3K, or even a 7 with 3 Ks, 3 outs, no batters on, and a hold. That's not bad, right? He gets a couple of those a week. That's a 21-piece right there. So, and if O'Brien messes up or gets hurt, he's going to be the guy. So that's a high value setup guy to look out for. Same thing with Matt Strahm. Irsay gave up a couple runs today, non-safe situation sort of thing. I'm not looking too much into that, but it is an interesting thing. Could he be the guy? Could be the next guy. Strahm has always been a good pitcher ever since he was on the Pods. I've always liked him. Anyway, Loaisaga, a guy that came in a save situation today, or ninth inning sort of thing for Arizona, since Paul Sewald was out of commission because he threw 2 days in a row. So they're at least trusting him. He's got good stuff. He gave up some runs, but yeah, just a guy worth noting. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into the power rankings for the Winterfell League. So it's some tough sledding. Sorry, what is this? I think I don't know if you saw this on the broadcast the other day, but yeah, kids eat free when Team Joey wins. I don't know if you saw this. Oh, wow! I guess everybody's going hungry then for the rest of the season. I'm sorry, kids, you're not getting fed this year. Team Joey just refusing to win. I think they might be going hungry for the rest of the year. Team Joey, number 12 in the rankings. I'm going in the right order I should have. I went from top down. Now I'm going bottom up. It's no surprise, again, I don't mean to give Joey so much grief, but the least amount of points in the league, you're 0-2, and you can't blame the lack of luck on this because points against is 426.5, which is third least. So I don't want to hear this unluckiness anymore. The team is just bad. I mean, bottom line. You look at the squad this season, and again, you got guys who just have been underperforming. Matt Shaw, not ideal. Josh Smith, Jordy Beck. Julio, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. James Wood starting to kind of pick it up. But then you got guys hurt. Kyle Teal, who's on his squad right now. And then, his pitcher's been fantastic. I mean, Chase Burns, dog. Mitch Keller's been good. Matt Libator, Michael McGreevy. All of them been solid. Paul Skeens with a good rebound performance. Reed Detmers, Joey Cantillo. Andrew Abbott's been fine. Again, he's had some solid starters, but again, rostering and having Brandon Beddois in your reserve slot is just not going to get it done. I am sorry. Just get him out of there. Drop a guy. You can drop a guy. And actually, again, we'll get into that later, but you have guys that are droppable. Trust me. You can drop him. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. You will survive. Anyway, he's got some good bones. I mean, really, he's got some solid starters. But yeah, having a guy like Braden Fisher or Beddois just seems that's pulling you down right now, Joey. And Aaron Ashby, I know, has ridiculous stuff, and he got a 12-piece the other day, but those are mainly wins. That's the one thing that I think I watch out for when it comes to relievers. Oh, well, they have so many points. Well, yeah, they're on wins, and those are so unpredictable. Those are so random. It's not because he was actually a good pitcher that day. He just happened to be pitching in the right moments, So that's my one thing for Joey. But, hey, shout out to your starters. Your starters have been good. You just got to, maybe cut ties with some of these underperforming hitters. Just because they're young doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be good. All right. Moving on. Number 11, no surprise, is Team Nate. I do give him props, as we talked about on the pod yesterday, for finally parting ways with our dog, Jerkson Profar. So shout out to him for that. In response, Hai-Sung Kim got called up, so that's another piece for his offensive puzzle. He's had some guys that have been going absolutely badonkers this season offensively. Ozzie Albies starting to get going. Sean Awell, Will Smith, Willier Abreu, Randy Arozarena, 2 30-point guys right now. Dylan Dingler has been solid. Even his guys who haven't been necessarily super great have contributed a little bit here and there. Jake Berger, Dolis Garcia, Max Muncy, Bobby Witt. Again, they've been fine. But looking at his pitching overall, this is again something's been a little bit tough, right? Like Christian Javier, -22 this season. That's tough. Ian Seymour, I think you can cut ties with him. I know there was some talk about him going into the year, but just not an ideal situation. But again, he's got some good starters. Jack Leiter's a dog. There's a reason why Nate won this week. is because he's had some good guys. I mean, Jack Leiter with 9 Ks through 5. He's a guy that's going to be a good starter. Nick Martinez, as much as we don't like him, he was productive. 6 innings pitched, 4 Ks. Again, it was against Minnesota, but still, Marty might be a guy. Then, yeah, Bryce Elder, as we mentioned, great pickup this week. Kenzie Gore, he's been solid. Casey Mize, a 19-piece, always good. And then, yeah, unfortunately for Landon Roop, a -2, which it could have been way worse. But the fact that he got 7 Ks really saved his performance. I think really where Nate has to maybe make some changes is, I mean, again, Seymour's got to go, bottom line. But yeah, maybe on some of these relievers, it's always good to have like high floor relievers. I'm not going to poo-poo that idea. You know, like an Adrian Morejon, he's good. You know, last year, like we kind of talked about in the pod, like so many wins. He gets Ks. He's kind of struggled this year, though, in terms of run stopping, and Morejon, that is. Tyler Rogers, again, he's not going to allow runs. He hasn't done so, but he's not going to get you a ton of points. That's the issue. My whole thing is with relievers, like, I would go for a long relief kind of guy. Like, not having all of these kind of middle relief setup kind of guys. It's just, it gets to a point where it's like, it's just clogging up the roster. Luke Weaver, that's a guy you keep because you know that if Devin Williams gets out of there, that Weaver's the next guy up, and he's pretty good. So, something to know. Brian King, again, a nice pickup. You know, he's potentially could be in the mix. He got a save last week against the Angels, so that was nice. But the other guys, yeah, just something to watch out for. But yeah, overall, a lot of potential on this squad. It's just a matter of, you know, guys like Trevor Story getting back in the groove. Mickey Moniak, a couple home runs for him. So we'll see. Maybe the team is on the up and up. I don't know. Either way. Number 10 is Noah. So, again, we kind of saw the same thing last week. And Noah has improved. I gave him props a little bit earlier for making some changes. Picking up Gregory Soto, that's big time. That's a big-time closer grab. Again, we probably should have got that, but didn't have a claim left, so that's unfortunate. But, again, he has some pieces, really, like especially pitching-wise. Jesus Luzardo, Sandy Alcantara, you know, Shane Baz, guys that are going to go for double digits for sure. And then some guys that have been fine, you know, Majinski, Jake Irvin. I mean, that was against the Dodgers. That's a tough start. So, was not surprised he got a -11. But yeah, JT Ginn, not sure you really need him on your squad anymore. But yeah, picking up Victor Vodnik, that was big. He got a save today, 9-piece, 3 Ks, inning pitch. You like to see that. Abner Uribe, there were some questions as to whether he was going to be the guy. He's now the setup guy. I think that's fine. He's going to get those holds. Tanner Scott, I don't hate it. He's going to be another kind of setup guy, but I don't know. I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he gets enough Ks to really warrant stashing him. And then Hogan Harris, there was kind of the closer kind of question. I don't think having any Athletics closer right now is even really worth it. But Jansen Junk, Slade Ciccone, you know, Ciccone with a 21-piece today. Fantastic performance. Walker Buehler, again, I think we can get rid of him. But, you know, there's some bones there. There are some bones there. And I kind of, you know, as I was texting Noah, not to reveal all of our secrets here, but he's got plenty of outfield depth. And that's something that is wanted by many players in the league right now. So I think that's something that he should maybe utilize when it comes to a trade. If he's not going to be competing this year, hey, maybe you trade away a guy like Cody Bellinger, who's 30. Maybe see what you can get for him. I don't know. We will see. Either way, moving on. Number 9 in the rankings, unfortunately, is Mark Newman. As I mentioned, Mark has had some insanely bad luck. We know that his hitters are amongst best in the league. They rival the Bahds, I will say, which is saying a lot. Up and down. I mean, he's got the most talented third baseman in the league. Bregman, Caminero, Jose Ramirez, Bo Bichette. These are all dogs, absolute dogs. He's got Carter Jensen, by the way, who's in his minors, which probably for the best. I think Jensen has struggled a little bit this season, and then he's got every minor league hitter under the sun, so he will be stacked in that regard for a while. But yeah, so as I mentioned, some of his pitchers been kind of through some tough work. Lopez -5, Flaherty -4, as I mentioned, but he's got. I mean, getting Brian Baker, the candlestick maker, the safe maker, the game breaker. That was a good pickup. He got the win, inning pitch, 2 Ks, no runs, nobody allowed. Efficient day for him. He might be the guy in Tampa. So he listened to the advice. He got rid of Griffin Jacks, which was a good call. So yeah, I think pitching wise, there's some big questions. Bybee, McClanahan, Ryan, Woodruff, solid. Imanaga is going to be solid. Lugo, always. Jeffrey Springs, same thing. Santana is going to be the guy getting saves, but definitely some competition there with Soto. Santillan is going to be a guy getting holds and the occasional save when Pagan's not available. Andres Munoz, slow start to the year, but has since picked it up, and I think he'll be okay. Aroldis Chapman, same thing, a tough day today, but normally going to get those saves, and that's more than you can ask for. Robert Garcia took the L today, has not really had many save chances. That's the issue with a guy like Garcia or a guy like us, like Clayton Beater. They're fine pitchers on bad teams, and that means a lot. Like if you comparing like an Edwin Diaz versus this guy, Edwin Diaz is just going to have more opportunities to get points, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, moving on. Number 8, Tyler. So now I know there will be questions about the rankings. I'll talk about it overall when I can. But for Tyler's team again, J.J. Weatherholt kind of cooled off this week. Wasn't as explosive, but still a fine player. But we saw his hitters start. I mean, to pick up Liam Hicks, one of the best hitters in all fantasy right now. Great call. He might be slowing down the last couple of games, but still, it'll be okay. Especially from a dynasty perspective, 26. I think he'll be fine. Cal Raleigh, the one real ouchie, -2 points. Tough from him, but O'Neal Cruz has started to pick it up. Altuve picking it up. O'Hearn. C.J. Abrams as well. Like, those are 30-point guys. Plenty of depth for Tyler's squad offensively, for sure. And then, he's got Casey, Crawford, Beavers, all in his minors. Those are guys that could be brought up right now and start on other teams. So that's fantastic. Then, in terms of pitchers, I mean, him and I have talked about this plenty, just how much Jose Soriano is an absolute dog. A 24-piece to start the year, a 23-piece last week, 6 strong, multiple Ks, no runs. And the win. That's as good as you can ask for. He's playing Atlanta this week. A 2-start week. Exactly what you want, especially against those offenses. So, good position for him. Chris Bassett has had a tough go, a -21 today. Yikes. That's tough. That's a hard one. Chris Sanchez, again, it's very top-heavy on this. Chris Sanchez, Jose Soriano, Yamamoto, dogs. Riley O'Brien's been getting his saves, 33 points for him. Brady Singer, Ryan Nelson, they've been fine. Severino, the L, not great. Kyle Bradish, breaking even this week. You hope for a little bit more from him, but I know he's coming off injury. Tyler, not really sure why you picked up Griffin Jacks. Did you want to have a guy who gives up a ton of runs? Like, I know he had a scoreless performance today, but I just do not trust that guy. He has -19 points on the season for a reason. So, hey, if you want to roll the dice, though, be my guest. Ryan Walker as well. I think that's a guy that a lot of people are saying is trending down. He came in the 5th the other day. What is with these managers bringing out their closers too early? I hate this. This is something I probably should have put in the MLB thoughts. I mean, Pete Fairbanks getting the start today against New York. Just what are we doing? Just what are we doing here? Ridiculous. But tough spot with Kyle Finnegan. Graham Ashcraft, I thought that was a good pickup for him as well. Another guy that's gonna get holds and potential saves when Pagan is hurt or went the day before. So reason why I have Tyler this high is because he has so much talent, even if it hasn't performed. I also have him this low rather because he has so much talent that is still in his minors. Parker Messick, bring him up. He's going to reach the threshold soon. Might as well bring him up. He's got 37 points. He's been a dog. Bubba Chandler's getting the start tomorrow. He's been good. I don't know, folks. I get not wanting to bring him up too quickly, but I think when they're not, they're bursting down the door. They're not just knocking on the door. They're bursting down that door. So it's okay to bring them up, especially when they're this talented. So anyway, Tyler's number 8. Number 7, Travis. So Team Travis, again, we've talked about his trades. That's all fine and dandy. But I think what we've really seen from him is his hitters have been really nice. I mean, Ben Rice, twice as nice. He's been good. Murakami has really come to play in those home runs. Xavier Edwards, dog. Dubon, again, a great pickup. Top of his lineup has been huge. And, some of his guys have been okay. I mean, Michael Harris, again, like 1.6. Soderstrom had a fine day today. You can't go wrong. Manny, again, Glaber, they've been fine, right? No big deal. But pitching-wise, he's really had a lot of guys come to play. Max Fried, Clay Holmes, George Kirby, Rhett Lauder, all Kodai Senga, double-digit guys. Got to shout out Travis for keeping on Kodai Senga amidst his demotion last season, right? Suarez, a bad game, bad couple games, really. I think he'll be okay. But then he's got, again, a couple guys who are getting saves, right? David Bednar, big-time save guy. Sir Anthony Dominguez saves. Devin Williams with some saves. So he's got 3 legit closers who are all relatively young. I think that's a solid place to be. Savali's been good. Miley's been kind of meh. Picking up Lance McCullers, that was another big-time acquisition for him. Max Mayer's been fine. Brandon Pfaadt, been pretty underwhelming. But then he's got Andrew Painter in his minors right now. So he's likely to see some action sooner rather than later. So I think this Travis squad actually has a chance to compete this year. I don't think that he needs to rebuild at all. He picked up Steer from us, and Steer had a home run the other day, a double as well. He's been more productive. He's getting hot. I don't want to say we should have kept that, but I'm glad that Travis, that you're enjoying him for sure. And he will get outfield eligibility here. He's a couple games away, so that'll be valuable for sure. I think the bones are there, and I just want to shout out Travis for his squad. All right, number 6 is Tommy, a guy who, again, gave us fits, the 3rd highest scoring this week. That's why he's getting the bump in the power rankings. Maikel Garcia, an absolute dog. I mean, one of the best third basemen fantasy-wise in the league. Nico Horner, great guy. I mean, he just has solid hitters up and down his lineup. Unfortunately, Mookie Betts is hurt, but a lot of his guys are in the double digits right now. Rarely does he have a guy he doesn't have a single hitter who's negative. He's got T.J. Rumfield in the minors right now, who is an absolute dog, a guy that we all should have got, who's really come on and surprised us. And then he's got plenty of depth. Marcelo Mayer as well, right now in the minors. So he could bring either of those guys up, and they'll be successful. So definitely aces in the hole. And then he's got great starters, guys that were really putting up numbers against us. Kevin Gausman, Davis Martin, fantastic performances. Dylan Cease always going to be good. Robbie Ray, Eduardo Rodriguez, Mike Soroka, Mikey Burrows was fine. Zach Allen, Luis Castillo was fine. One piece, whatever. But yeah, and then in terms of the relievers, that's the tough stuff. I mean, McGill getting the save, that was fine. I mean, he had 2 saves back-to-back days, so you got to hold on to that. Iglesias, he's been fine this season. Suarez, fine. Jojo Romero, fine. All guys that are going to get Ks and going to get innings and going to be fine. I'm not sure why he still got Garrett Whitlock. He's hurt. I mean, he's on paternity leave. He's going to return, but I don't know if you need to have a guy like that, but or keep a guy like Dustin May, who has been absolutely god awful this season. I think he could stand to lose him and maybe take a chance on maybe bringing up Grant Taylor. Nah, Grant Taylor's been starting games like every single game. It doesn't make any sense, but you might get to a point where bringing up Grant Taylor because he is going to be a high leverage guy, or maybe they'll turn him into a starter. I don't know. But, yeah, Tommy's got potential for sure. I mean, his hitters have come through. Matt Olson had a great week this week. So, shout out. All right, number 5 is T-Flow. So, yeah, Tristan, I don't know if you want me to have you higher, but, yeah, again, some of your hitters have been absolute dog water. Noel Levy Marte, and J.P. Crawford, and Rafi Devers, and Josh Naylor. All been bad, but that's been combated with some of these bigger names: Carlos Correa, Otto Lopez, Jackson Merrill. Juan Soto has been fine, but now there's some questions about whether he's hurt or not. So, T-Flow is really put it on, but yeah, his pitching has looked pretty damn good. Michael King, Nolan McLean, Andre Palante, Yohan Duran, Pagan, Smith. I mean, that is the trifecta of good closers that we all would love. Getting Joe Boyle off waivers was a huge pickup. Shout out for that. Chad Patrick, another minors guy turned starter, has been great. Rasmussen, 18 points for him. Roki got a 0. So I know you don't want to drop him. He's just too young and good. And of course, Cam Schlittler, the former Bod, the trade that haunts us every day. Kate Horton going down, that's tough to see. But yeah, again, T-Flow's got some bones. Oh, also, shout out to you. Why are we benching Tatsuya Imai? He is going to reach the threshold in like 3 or 4 starts. Bring him up. You could have had yourself a 25 piece and you would have beat Nick. There was no reason for you not to bring him up. I mean, to start Tyler Alexander instead of Tatsuya Imai, that doesn't make any sense. That was a huge mismanagement. You could have won this week. I digress, but get rid of Alexander, bring up Imai. That's my one note for you, Tristan. Anyway, otherwise, a solid team. All right, number 4 is the Bahds. So I didn't want to rate us higher than undefeated teams because I don't feel like that's necessarily fair. But we are number 2 in the league in points scored this year with 595.5. Just saying. Yeah, our team, we went absolutely off. I'll get to us in our little final segment, but yeah, I love what we got going on right now. I mean, Drake Baldwin, best player in fantasy right now, best catcher, and then we got, William Contreras, who also has 30 points, another catcher. So we got depth. Christian Walker, thank God, is back. Christian Walker is so back. He's been fantastic. Andy Pajes, dog. Chandler Simpson, consistent. Schwarber has been good. And then we got some guys, again, Simeon, who's started to come back. Freddie Freeman, another guy is good. But we had a lot of guys who've been underperforming as well offensively. Pete Alonso, 9 points. Willie Adames, 7. Byron Buxton, 2. Jacob Marcy, 7. Not guys that we're going to drop, but definitely guys that we're eyeing like, all right, this is tough, Ernie Clement as well as, again, those 2 middle, like the second base, third base, I just, that someone's got to give there, but we're not that place yet to to get rid of guys. And then our pitchers have been really solid, and we've done our due diligence on getting, good closers like Jordan Romano getting saves, Paul Sewell getting saves, Clayton Beater. At least our first matchup was fine, but lately it's like, all right, we might need to think about getting rid of him, but I'm not really sure. But we've hit on some of our pitchers this week. I mean, picking up Eric Lauer, guy got a 22 piece. Scherzer was fantastic, a 20 from him. Steven Matz, a 25 piece. That was incredible, right? Kumar Rocker, a 2, which was fine. I mean, that's just all we needed at that point. But our pitcher's been good this week. Really, David Peterson was the only guy who sucked ass, just looked awful. 9 hits. I mean, that was a frustrating performance from him. Should have had a better game. But Pavet's getting back on track. A lot of our pitchers getting back on track, which was really nice to see. Cameron, a good start for him. Lauer kind of regressed today with a -9. That was a weird one. But I think we will keep. I think Rocker's probably going to be the guy getting the cut. But, yeah, Ponce going down was really unfortunate. Just really looking forward to, Griffin Cannon getting back. He's throwing in AAA right now. He'll be back soon. I don't know what the hell is going on with Joe Musgrove. That is still worrying me. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about him. But Justin Steele, could come back, and Strider. Haven't really seen much from him, so we'll give you the updates when we can. Anyway, number 3 in the rankings, Team Nick. So, looking at the standings, obviously, it's Bouchard, Nick, Zane, because Nick has the second most points with, amongst the undefeated teams at 540. So why is he getting number 3 and, Zane and Bouchard getting higher than that? I think a lot of it comes down to at least Nick's current roster construction. And I know that's something he's going to address for sure. But, yeah, he doesn't have a third baseman right now. Maybe he welcomes back Yul Max Muncy to the squad. But, yeah, right now I think in terms of his hitters, he's got a lot of good guys who've been going off. I mean, Yandy Diaz, Bryce Terang. I mean, Terang's always going to be solid. Stan, 22 points. Shohei, 25. Yelich, 28. Donovan, 26. Herrera, 21. But, of course, you got Sal Stewart in minors right now going absolutely ham, but he can't bring him up because of all these different guys clogging the system. His pitchers also been good. Bubic, 23. Kyle Harrison, 33. Shohei, 24. Tyon, 11. Framber, 36. Logan Webb, 23. Reynaldo, 30. Randy Vasquez, a great pickup, 38. Who else we got? Jeff Hoffman, Pete Fairbanks, they've all been pretty doggish to start the year. Brian Abreu, tough performance today with a -11, so that might be a guy you watch out for. Emmett Sheehan, a guy that you're watching out for is, he did get the win. He got a 6, but really worried about that velocity. Is his arm dead? There's some questions there. But, yeah, I think Team Nick, again, Valdi's been weirdly bad. I think, Bubic had a fine performance today, but not what we know we can do. Nick's pitching is dynamite, no doubt about it. I think the reason why I have him lower, Bouchard is obviously going to be high, but I think Zane, I think Zane's team, we'll get to his in a second, but I think I think he's got a higher ceiling than Nick right now. That's just, at least, especially with his starting pitching. I think Nick's hitters are better, but I think once Nick fills those holes, then I think I'd be more inclined to give him a more positive rating. But, yeah, right now he's just getting boned by those positional eligibilities. So, anyway, moving on. Number 2, no shock, it's Zane. So, Zane, another 2-0 team. You look at his offense. He's got some bad guys, I'm not going to lie. He's got Addison Barger in there, who's been terrible. Austin Hayes, again, like I said, not really sure why he still got him. Heliot Ramos, not ideal. And then Spencer Horwitz, tough offense, but his pitching, again, one of the best in the league. Cabrera, DeGrom, Connolly Early, Peralta, Ashcraft, Edwin Diaz, Urseg, Helsley, Cole Sands, Garrett Crochet, Sonny Gray, Trevor Rogers, Brian Wu. Those are guys that are going for double digits. Luis Morales did have a terrible game, no doubt about that. And Estrada, not ideal. Cole Sands, maybe he's not the closer type in Minnesota, and maybe Urseg isn't as fantastic as we thought he was. But the rest of his starters are dynamite. I mean, Edward Cabrera, a 26-piece, a 15-piece. Solid. He's got solid starters. You can't deny that. And, guys that we're going to come back here in due time. He's got Connor Griffin, of course, Jordan Lawler. So he's got plenty of depth. And Seiya Suzuki will be coming back. He's going to come back Friday, I guess, according to reports. So once he's in, I'm sure Austin Hayes will be out. So I think that's something I'm looking forward to in terms of just his lineup getting better. So I think he's got some really good pieces like Miguel Vargas, Lindor, Aranda, PCA, Kyle Tucker, Taylor Ward, McGonigal's been big. Alvarez has been serviceable, I guess, a catcher. Ellie. So again, these guys they're gonna bounce back, and I think that's why I have him over Nick right now, is because again, these guys, their potential, it's going to shine through. It's just a matter of time. Like, Pete Crow Armstrong is not going to suck for this long. We saw that last year. He's a very streaky hitter. So I just like what he has in terms of his, I guess, positional abilities, because he can bring up a guy like Griffin. He's got Churio, who might come back here. I'm not sure when he'll come back, but hopefully soon for him. But that pitching staff is just so dominant. I can't not rank him that high. So anyway, with that said, number one, no surprise, is Alec, Team Bouchard, as the number one team in the Winterfell League right now. He's got the number one fantasy player in Yordan Alvarez, who Travis traded away for a bag of chips. So his hitters have been going off. I mean, Cole Young, we all should have got 26. Again, it's not like a lot of these guys have 30. It's just they've been good, right? Like Shea Langelier's one of the best catchers in fantasy baseball. But, Vlad, Lau, Turner, Cole Young, Vientos, Aaron Judge, Cam Smith. All these guys have 20 points. And then whoever doesn't have that, they still have double digits. So, okay. One thing, Alec, you got to take out Zach Veen and put him in your minors, because he is reinstated from the injured list. So make sure to do that. Obviously, he's not doing anything, but make sure your roster is legal. Anyway, aside from his hitters, his pitching is also fantastic. I mean, did take a blow with Hunter Brown, going to the IL. But other than that, I mean, Glasnow, Reagans, Sale, Skubal, Warren, Kenley Jansen getting saves, Mason Miller getting saves, Daniel Palencia getting saves, Taj Bradley having himself a career year, Mizorowski's a dog. Ober, I'm not super stoked of what he's going to do this year, but then you got Gavin Williams as well. So Williams with 31. Insane performance. So anyway, Matt Brash is a fine player. He did blow a save. He'll get Ks, again, a former pod. He's a fine guy to have. Ryan Weathers, young. He got 12 the other day, but yeah, I'm worried about Ryan Weathers if I was Bouchard. I mean, it's like, is this guy ever going to figure it out? But anyway, yeah, all of his pitches, I mean, none of them got negative. So whether that's luck, whether that's skill, I'm not sure what you want to call it, but that's been fine. Yeah, offensively, Caleb Durbin and Austin Riley have been major disappointments, but I think they'll turn it around. So anyway, yeah, shout out to Alec for being active on the wire as well. So anyway, that has been the Winterfell Power Rankings. Taking a look at it again. Bouchard, Zane, Nick, Bahds, T-Flow, Tommy, Travis, Tyler, Mark, Noah, Nate, and Joey. things could be shaking up next week. We're going to have some big matchups. Well, actually, let's take a little week 3 preview to see what we got on tap. So it's Noah and the Bahds. We'll get to that in a sec. Then we got Nate and Alec. That's going to be a tough one. Tommy and Nick. That's going to be a dogfight. Joey taking on Mark. That'll actually be interesting. I'm actually interested to see who comes out on top on that one. Zane and Travis, that'll be a good one. And then Tyler and T-Flow. That's some great matchups this week. I'm excited to see what happens. A lot of parity in the league right now. A lot of up and down, So taking on Team Noah, we got 14 scheduled starts as of right now. So I am not fearing for my life in terms of starts. We also have Foster Griffin in the ace in the hole, so we will see. I will say, as I mentioned with Team Noah, he's got a lot of starters, so he's got some good pitching here. It's not like Noah's just going to roll over. I think his hitters, some of them are not ideal. Nolan Arenado, not amazing right now, but hey, he's got some guys. So it's never an easy win in this league. Can't take anything for granted. So that'll be interesting to see. But anyway. Final sort of thing we got for here on the pod, as we talked about, we'll do a weekly Bahds 5 moral victories. I added a 6 because I just couldn't not have this. So the first one is no cheap victories, basically meaning that not like we won it fair and square, not that there were like ethical winners or anything like that, but I think that we had an absolute dominant performance. We won, and we won handily, and we won against a team that did good as well. So I feel really great that our team proved itself this week. Sometimes teams get cheap wins where they beat a bad team, or they beat them, it's like 150 to 140. And, it's just because, some guy had all of his guys hurt or whatever happened, right? So I'm glad that we won, and we won big. So that was big time. All of our hitters are healthy right now. Knock on wood. I'm stoked for that. That is, a lot of teams don't have that luxury right now. So I'm thankful to Bahds. We got all of our hitters healthy. Unfortunately, some of them are not hitting the way we would like. I would love for Byron Buxton to figure his shit out. Same with Willie Adames. Same with Pete Alonso to actually hit a home run this season. But I digress. I like where we're at right now. And guys are turning it on, especially Christian Walker. So big fan of that. Anyway, number 2, only 2 negative starters this week. That is such an Achilles heel for us in the past, is getting those negative starts. Thankfully, us this week, we only had 2. David Peterson was not great. I did not appreciate that, and we had Lauer today, which didn't even matter, but. Our starters this week, they went off. It was a nice week for the Bahds. Even Foster Griffin had 2 back-to-back double-digit performances. But, Noah Cameron, Nola, Scherzer, Matz, Boyd, Pavetta, all with double digits. Grant Holmes, double digits. Rocker with a 2, which is fine. But yeah, Jordan Romano and Paul Sewald were just awesome this week. It was so much fun watching them getting their saves. Sewald getting 3 saves this week. That was fun. It was fun watching him. Walker didn't pitch this week, but 21 piece from him last week. He goes tomorrow, so I'm excited where our stars are right now, and I just really again cannot wait to get our healthy guys back. All right, moving down. Foster Griffin, as I mentioned. Foster Griffin's a guy. He's a bat? I don't know. We'll see. He's been good. Former KBO guy. 15-piece first start against Philly. 11-piece against the Dodgers, which that's hard to do. Only 1 earned run allowed against LA. That's impressive. He's got some good stuff. So this week he's taking on Milwaukee. Again, might be the ace in the hole. Might bring him up for the start. We'll see how we go this week, right? Moral victory number 5 is that Carlos Estevez is still hurt. So I'm thankful for that. again, I like Carlos Estevez. That's why we got him. But with him having his velocity be so garbage, I just cannot stand him being in the active lineup. And then for him to have single-handedly lost us our matchup with a -23 was so upsetting. So anyway, I'm glad he's still hurt to figure out his shit. Hey, take as long as time as you need, bud. Take as long as time as you need. We'll be here for you. And then number 6 is we've spread the wealth. I just had to add the 6. Usually we only have 5 moral victories, but had to add the 6. I felt good that I was able to advise some fellow teams on moves and acquisitions. So I like that we spread the wealth. The more fantasy points, the better. I like this league to be competitive. So that was something that was nice for us to do this week. So anyway, with that is going to bring it to the end of this edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty Podcast. I'm Keith Demolder. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have another episode coming here soon. Might have Team Travis on the pod. We will see when that happens. But in the meantime, signing off. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. And, take it easy.